I am fully convinced that this season is Lost at its peak. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing another video today. This one's going to be doing another video for Lost. This one's going to be doing my full season review now for the next season of Lost. This is for season 4. So, this is honestly one of the best seasons of, honestly, old school TV, if you ask me. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with that statement. Now, if you guys are not aware, we are going to be doing individual season reviews now rather than episode reviews for Lost, mostly just because we have to get caught up for one thing, plus we've been reviewing this show for over a year, and I know people wanted to get my thoughts on the seasons a lot quicker, so we're going for this formula instead. Now, I am going to start with this. This is a short season, for one thing. It's only 14 episodes, so it's a bit of a shorter run. It's a lot easier to binge as well. If you want to binge it within like 2-3 days, you could. Honestly, it's a really to the point season, and it's so damn good. It's so good. It's really good. There's so many different things about this season that I just love. I mean, there's so many characters that return. There's so many new characters they add to the mix. The timeline stuff is really unique this season, which we'll talk about. And overall, the season is just really well told. It's really well told, and it makes you jump out of your seat almost every episode. So the story and the plot of season 4 of Lost is that now our characters are in a position where they're about to be saved, right? They've made the call, they're ready to be saved, they're ready to be let off the island, and over the course of these 14 episodes, we actually see how some of these characters' lives are going. We see Jack, we see Kate, we see Hurley, we see Saeed, and Ben Linus, and also, of course, Sun. Now, we see all of them off the island in different storylines this season, and this is, rather than doing every episode in a flashback manner, which I was really getting annoyed with that side plot. That was admittedly some of the reasons that I took breaks from Lost, because I found the first 3 seasons, they were really doing too much of that. This season, they actually do the most unique thing they could have ever done. They show the surviving characters that make it back to the real world, their lives, separately. We get to see Jack and Kate end up together. Finally, we get to actually see that. Now that they're on the main, world again, Jack's a doctor again. He, seems to be doing good. You know what I mean? And you've got Kate that rescued Claire's kid, right? Aaron, and she has taken this kid as her own, basically. And she claims to be the guardian of this kid. Not legally, though, which she deals with a lot of that stuff as well, too. And she does also still deal with the jail time that she was going to be having before she crashed on the island. So I like that element of it as well, too. She luckily gets out of it, but it was a big episode there where we got to see kind of her, her trial, stuff like that, which I thought was very interesting. And then we kind of see Jack kind of goes along with everything. He has a nice life with her, but then we kind of see he starts drinking, we see he starts kind of hallucinating, and we kind of see that he messes up his relationship with Kate. He doesn't look at Aaron as their own. He doesn't look at it as him needing to be a father. He kind of ends up going his own way, and him and Kate unfortunately do break up, which is unfortunate, which, yeah, it's sad, because they finally ended up together, but then, you kind of see what happens here. So it's pretty sad. And Hurley ends up in a mental institution, it sounds like. That's basically what goes on there. He's kind of gone nuts now being back, on the mainland. He's kind of gone a little bit crazy and stuff. You've got Saeed, who is a hitman this season, and he is doing these jobs for somebody, which we don't necessarily reveal right away. But then we reveal that the man he works for is Ben Linus, and Ben Linus is off the island too. So Saeed and Ben Linus kind of have a bit of a double agent plot this season, which I thought was really cool. And I liked their plot a lot. That was one of my favorite elements, is the Saeed element. And then obviously what's going on with his girl, trying to get back to her, and everything that's gone on there. Saeed is kind of broken at this point, you know what I mean? And yeah, I thought he was pretty awesome as well this season. Now, we've also got Sun, who obviously finally has the baby, which I thought was great, but not before we reveal that Jin is dead. And they drop that bombshell right off the bat. They're like, yup, Jin didn't make it. He didn't make it. He didn't make it off the island. And then it's like, what? And they play this episode, it's about middle ways through the season, where Jin is like getting these flowers and this bear, for her, and he's getting to the hospital because she's in labor, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, what the hell? And then we find out those were two separate timelines, and these bastards tricked you. And I was like, what? So, yeah, no, that was nuts as well, too. I couldn't get over that. That was insane. Now, the main plot of this season, obviously, is this freighter group. Now, you have them on this freighter. It's like this boat. Really unique location. I found this to be a really unique spot. This is basically a massive location we have this season because, after Jack calls for help, you have a bunch of new survivors that come in, obviously, from this helicopter. You have Daniel Faraday, who is a very smart man. He knows how to navigate timelines and stuff, which I liked. I liked his character. I thought he was pretty cool. And he kind of talks in like a low manner. He kind of talks like, he's kind of always intense and always kind of talks in the same fashion, So he's pretty cool. Now, in addition to Daniel Faraday, of course, we also have some of the other workers that are down there helping out our characters on the island that come with him. There's Charlotte, who's kind of like his crush, as you can tell. Even though they work together, he's always like, Charlotte, I need to tell you something, Charlotte, So, she's British as well, so we get to see a British character. That's pretty cool, in addition to Claire. We also have, which I did like this guy, Miles. Miles is kind of a realist. He's kind of a real guy, you know what I mean? He's very like, oh, lovely, we can't get off the island now, can we? Oh, shit, the transmission's dead, Like, he's one of those type of guys, you know what I mean? Like, he's very, like, matter-of-fact, It's kind of fun to have a character like him, I'm not gonna lie. I liked him a lot. He was a good addition. And then there's also Lapidus, who is like the pilot, right? And he learns in this one, as we kind of learn his backstory in one of the earlier episodes, that they actually found the flight 815. So, it's like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on then? Like, why is our characters presumed dead, and why is there a plane that looks like our characters were dead the entire time to the real world? So it's like a big moment. He's like, no, what the hell? And then obviously, you kind of find out more information as you go on towards the season. Now, one of my favorite episodes this season, and one of my favorite stories this season, is episode 5, The Constant, which was an episode with Desmond, basically, where he kind of is shifting between a reality moment and then kind of a, like, I don't want to say a different timeline or a different, like, a different reality, but he's like this, like, soldier or whatever in, like, the army, and you got this guy kind of controlling him and stuff like that. He's trying to get a hold of Penny, of course, his wife, and he's trying to get a hold of her in the real timeline as well, too, and it's kind of alternating between these two realities, the real world and this world, you know what I mean? And he actually goes back in time in this one and visits Daniel Faraday, one of our new characters, and he kind of helps Desmond navigate his way through in order to talk to his love, Penny. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, this episode 5, The Constant, probably my favorite episode of the show so far. That one in particular, really goddamn good. Like, that episode was really good. And he finally makes contact with Penny at the end of that episode. And it was just so heartwarming, man. I kind of got a little teary-eyed. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It was pretty emotional. So kudos to the writers, and especially the actor for Desmond. Desmond has really climbed up there as one of my favorite characters of this entire show, honestly, as the time has gone on. This season really made damn sure of that as well, too. Insane stuff, man. Absolutely incredible. Now, we obviously also have Remy and obviously his boys. They're kind of a villain squad this season, kind of this advanced military squad that kind of tries to stop our characters from getting off the island, which is pretty insane. And this guy always has like this like smug smile. Like, the guy's just such a dickhead, which he does go down this season. He's only a one-season character, but I thought he made for an interesting villain, you know what I mean? I thought he was pretty damn good. And, in addition to that, obviously, we also get a massive return this season, which I was wondering what the hell was happening with this character. We finally get the return of Michael this season, y'all. He is actually a random janitor and worker on this freighter when our crew gets on there later this season, and find out that this guy calls himself Kevin now. And you find out that basically Tom, one of the guys from the others, put him up to this, and he is now working for these people, and he's trying to find a way out. So Michael is kind of indebted to them at this point, and we kind of get to see Michael kind of, doing his thing, and Yeah, this is kind of insane. Michael does end up biting the bullet this season. As they're all kind of on this freighter, he kind of ends up saving the rest of our crew, kind of helps the rest of them kind of get out of there, and Michael ends up going down, which I was pretty surprised about. Michael's always been a character that I stuck up for in the early seasons. Now this season returning without Walt being, held against as well fully, but more so him just kind of, paying his dues, helping out our crew, kind of coming back as kind of an anti-hero, I'd almost say, to a degree, was really insane. But he's not the only one we lose in that explosion. We lose him, and we lose Jin. Jin goes down as our characters fly away to get off the island, right? And that's the story of this whole season, is our characters slowly over these 14 episodes getting off the island. And by the end of it, we have Jack, we have Kate, we have little Aaron, we have Desmond, we have a few of our other characters, Jin, obviously, Sun, and Saeed, and they're getting off the island, but of course Jin stays back and dies at the last minute, and Sun has to watch this happen, which is really unfortunate. They couldn't save Jin in the nick of time. So this is what I'll say about the characters that we did lose, because this was crazy. As for Jin, I mean, that's a guy that I hated in the early seasons. I really did. I couldn't stand him. As I'm sure y'all kind of noticed as the reviews went on, I really started to like him, actually. I really, really started liking his character. He's learning English as the show went on. He turned into a badass, and he just wanted Sun to live. And unfortunately, it meant, costing his life at the end, which is really unfortunate. And in addition, Michael did some rough decisions, especially in season 2, but it was only for his son, and that's the big thing he always cared about. And in the end, he gave his life as well for the rest of them to get out. So two characters that really, really were selfish people at one point or another, or at least not selfish on Michael's end, really, just more so like, about his kid, and that's it. You can understand his perspective 110%, but they gave him a really good redemption this season, and a story that I thought was absolutely insane. And of course, well, let's talk about Sawyer this season. Sawyer kind of ends up having his own plot this season. He gets a little bit closer with some of our characters, obviously Hurley in particular, but I found it kind of unfortunate when they were flying off, because Sawyer ended up staying behind on the island with Locke and the others, so that the rest of them can kind of make it out, and they needed to lose some weight, so that's what ended up happening with Sawyer. And Sawyer, as per usual, this season was amazing. One of the biggest things I like to highlight about him is this season, we actually saw, of course, the military squad attack Ben Linus's compound in this one, and Sawyer went out of his way, walked through fire and everything to save Claire and to save her life, and I thought that was absolutely insane. Now, there's one other thing that happens this season on the island that I thought was very prevalent and very massive this season. We have John Locke that is separating our crew. You have some of our crew that does want to go home, and some of our crew that goes with Locke to live on the island forever. And Locke separates our crew in this season and kind of turns into a little bit of a dictator, as a matter of fact, which I thought was kind of an insane route to go. I always kind of saw that side of Locke kind of, being set up, but this season, man, I like to nickname him Mr. Clean, because he looked like Mr. Clean this season. I'm not gonna lie. The white shirt, the bald head, clean shaven. But I must say, he was a really interesting character this season. Nothing could slip past him. He was like the mastermind of the island. Like, Ben actually felt like a little bitch this season compared to Locke. Like, that's the roles reversed completely. It was insane. So I thought that was pretty nuts. And, well, overall, y'all, this season was nuts. They kind of shift you through a lot of different storylines. They kind of shift you through a lot of things, and they kind of build all the way up to the timeline where they're all living rather shitty lives, honestly, off the island. And we skip a good few years, near the end there. But there's a few things that happen. While they're leaving the island, we get a really big moment. We find out through Ben Linus, and this is when some very interesting writing comes in. They're able to, and I'm not joking either, okay? And this kind of goes into the reason I stopped reviewing the show episode to episode. Because this shit goes really fucking wild in Season 5, and they set it up this season. Ben Linus is able to move the goddamn island and move it elsewhere. By doing this, it is able to disappear. So, I kind of turned the other eye, you know what I mean? When that happened, I was like, what the hell are we doing? I didn't know that was this type of show. I have to admit, I did not know this was that type of show. It goes nuts in 5. That's a plot for 5, so I'll say this. For 4, it's not a big issue, but it left me very puzzled. I will say that. But 5 goes into the explanation of why that happens. We'll cover that in Season 5, of course. And then finally, well, let's talk about the big cliffhanger of the season. There's this coffin the entire season. Jack is wondering who's in there, and somebody from the island apparently is dead. That's what we know. And at the end of this episode, we have, this season, I should say, we have Jack. He's got the big beard and everything. He looks absolutely nuts. He looks absolutely depressed. And he stops by to see this person. He has no idea who this is. I was sitting here wondering to myself, I was like, oh my God, who is dead? Like, who is dead from our group? And I was like, I don't like how they're building this. I don't like how they're building this, y'all. Y'all ready for this? John Locke is dead, y'all. I don't know. I don't know.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
John Locke is dead. People, he's dead.
Fuck no.
I mean, I know he was a bastard this season. I know he's a piece of shit, kind of, and he was on his Mr. Clean arc, but somehow, some way, John Locke is off land, on the real world again, dead in a coffin.
Fuck no.
What the fuck? Like, what? So, I don't know, people. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, oh my God, man. I mean, talk about striking when the iron's hot. This season doesn't stop. It has crazy moments, crazy deaths, so many deaths. I can't even keep up with it. The idea of John Locke being dead when there's only 2 more seasons left is really interesting to me. He kind of always felt like a character that would be there until the end of the show. Now, granted, obviously, they've done fake-outs before, so it's tough to necessarily say, but that's where they leave you, is John Locke being dead. That's the route they end the season on. And that was just an unbelievable moment. Unbelievable. Again, though, Season 5 kind of elaborates on stuff. We'll cover that, obviously, next time. As for Season 4, it is bar none the most interesting story and season that the show has ever had. Up to this point, 110%. There's so many different things they do with this season, it's actually kind of insane. It's actually pretty damn insane, I'm not gonna lie. Because, like, there's these timeline things, they show our characters off the island, they're constantly moving, but it's just a constant wonder of, like, how did we get here, rather than how are their backstories, which I appreciate that, because I was getting a little burned out on the backstories. I mean, they gave the new characters backstories, but I felt like after 3 seasons of 20-some episodes per season, getting backstories every episode for characters was kind of weighing the show down for me. That's kind of what took me so long to get through Season 3s. I felt like they were just recycling plots all the time, you know what I mean? They're kind of just doing the same thing, but continuing it, you know? So for this season, I thoroughly enjoyed the story. I really did. You know, Michael's return and sacrifice, Jin, his character, Ben Linus continues to be an absolute badass, Sawyer, great as usual, Saeed was a standout this season, I must say. Desmond was probably my favorite this season, honestly, especially reuniting with Penny there near the end of the season when they finally get off the island, I thought was a great moment as well. But yeah, no, I think overall this is my favorite Lost season, 110%. This was just the most entertaining season, it's most well-done season, and I think overall they did a really good job with it, I really do. So, let me know your thoughts, post your comments down below, people. Let me know what you guys think of Lost Season 4, and would you say this is the best season of Lost? I have a 10 out of 10 for this whole season. I think the entire thing set up the story very well. It set up the intrigue. It was shocking. It was insane. Again, there's a lot of things that kind of bleed into 5, so we'll talk about that obviously next time. Next week, you should expect a review for Season 5, but man, oh man, this was a crazy season, y'all. So, thank y'all for watching. Post your comments down below. What do you guys think of Lost Season 4, and what is your favorite episode? I would go with The Constant, Episode 5, with a close runner-up being the finale, I would say. Yeah, 100%. So, If you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Lost. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.